And hi, everybody. Welcome back to this edition of, well, it's not really sports talk. It's kind of a look back tonight as we change topics a little bit at really one of the great comedy performers of the last 50 years. We're going to remember the great Jerry Stiller tonight, who passed away yesterday as we do this live on a Tuesday night. It was Monday, May 11th that Jerry Stiller passed away at age 92. And I know we all know his great work on Seinfeld as Frank Costanza, and of course later on as Arthur Spooner on The King of Queens. But I thought it might be kind of fun to go back and look at some of their classic routines that he did along with his wife, Ann Miller, another great performer in her own right, back on a couple of television shows from the 1960s and again 1970s. And we'll also hear one of their classic radio commercials. People up in the New York area will remember that StillerMeara did the Blue Nun wine commercials. I believe they were just in New York. I may be wrong. They may have been national spots, but at least in New York, we heard them quite a bit back in the 1970s. So we're going to hear a commercial that they did. Very funny. They did many of them, and I believe just from kind of reading over what the notes the last few days and the stories, that they increased the sales of Blue Nun wine 500%. Since they started doing those commercials. So very effective, but also very entertaining and very funny. But we're going to start with a look back at the old Ed Sullivan Show. As you can see, I'm sitting right in front of the old Ed Sullivan Theater in Midtown Manhattan. That's where StillerMeara performed over 30 times, I believe 36 appearances on Ed Sullivan Show over the years, starting in, I guess, late 1950s and I guess through the end of the show, which went off the air in 1971. And then we'll see a comedy sketch they did on the Carol Burnett Show from 1974, I believe, is when this was done. And then we'll finish up with the Blue Nun commercial. So remember the great Jerry Stiller tonight on the program. So let's begin. Let's go back now to the Ed Sullivan Show, mid-1960s, Stiller and Meara.
This lady, this woman who you're looking at right now is not only a consummate actress, which is what she is in front of you now, but she is my wife. And you have to separate the woman from the image.
What are you doing? You're making a cake? What are you separating?
No, I am trying. No,
This is Betty Crocker week or something.
I'm trying to clean up.
It's a complete package. 2 legs, 2 arms, whatever.
I have to clean up, the impression. People write letters. They start to say, well, why do you let her put
Who writes letters? Oh, yeah, the letters you get. The ones in the crayon, yes. No,
Hey, Jerry, we love you. We hate her.
No, can I explain this? In real life, Anne comes out and goes home just like some of the women here in the audience. She shops, she cleans.
who are you living with? Shop clean. I think that's an obscenity.
No,
Who likes to clean? Anybody? You, mister? Come to my house Thursday. No, somebody's got to do it. It's terrible. There's something growing underneath my couch. I don't know what it is, but I fed it 3 times. I could tell something on you, may I? May I? This happened to us. We were playing in Lake Tahoe, George Washington's birthday weekend. I mentioned the time because that was when President Nixon made his trip to China. Remember his visit to China? And how fast you forget. Anyway, he took this trip to China, and we're in a nightclub dressing room between shows. We're watching on the television. President Nixon, he lands in China. He walks down the stairs. He shakes hands with Zhou Enlai and Mrs. Enlai, and all the Enlais were there. And at one point, Zhou Enlai, he gestures, to the Red Chinese band to strike up the music. And they start to play. Da 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 da. Jerry turns to me and he says, gee, Ann, they have the same national anthem we do. The whole point of this is that we all know how President and Mrs. Nixon, how they felt about the Chinese visit, and Barbara Walters gave her opinions. Nobody heard from Zhou Enlai and his wife how they felt about the Americans. But we're going to rectify that for you. We're going to be Mr. and Mrs. Zhou Enlai, and we're in bed, and we're saying goodnight to each other right after the Americans left town. Oh, Joey. Oh, Joey. I can't keep my hands off you.
Try, will you? Try.
Oh, Joey, a whole week. No kissing, no hugging, nothing.
I didn't want to make any noise. The Nixons were sleeping next door, you know what I mean?
No, oh, honey, you broke your back to please those foreigners.
I tried. I did my best. I took them to the ballet. I showed them the Great Wall.
Yeah, they saw the Great Wall. I wouldn't tell you what they wrote on the Great Wall.
Listen, forget it. It's over now.
Honey, a grown man, the president of his country. You know what he writes on the wall?
What?
Dickie loves Pats.
All right, forget it. It's over.
Tourists, real tourists.
Finished. It's one of those things.
Oh, the
right?
reporters, they left the hotel a mess.
Forget it.
They took 56 ashtrays, 12 blankets, and 40 towels.
Chalk it up to experience, will you? It's
Honey,
all
I
over.
got to apologize.
Apologize? What do you mean?
I almost spoiled the whole visit for you.
What do you mean?
At the airport.
What, you mean when you went up to Barbara Walters and you said, how do you do, Mrs. Nixon?
Yeah, it felt terrible. Oh, listen, to me, they all look alike.
I know what you mean. The round eyes, yes. Well, look, I really have to congratulate you, though, on the way you handled the banquet. That
You
was
like
beautiful.
the banquet, huh?
From the wonton soup, the Mai Tais, the suey cow.
Honey, the egg rolls were frozen from Chungking.
You could have fooled me. I would never know if they were, really.
I know they all love the banquet, though.
Really? What did they think of my shark fins?
Oh, they love your shark fins. I heard Walter Cronkite whispering to Henry Kissinger.
What did he say?
I can't believe I ate the whole fin.
Hey, I gotta ask you a question. What did you think of Henry Kissinger?
He was cute.
Did you know he was Jewish?
Of course I knew he was Jewish. He pledged 1,000 yen to our temple. I didn't like Harry Reasoner at all. He was very rude to me, honey.
Rude? What do you mean?
Well, he handed me his shirts. He said medium starch.
I believe it.
I got even with him, though. I told him off good.
What did you say?
Ring around the collar.
Good.
Shirts were filthy.
Well, we finally got rid of Charlie and Chan.
Oh, those two big, fat, dumb pandas. Am I glad we unloaded them?
I didn't have the heart to tell them they weren't housebroken.
I didn't have the heart to tell them they were both gay. Good night, Joey. I'm hungry.
Why don't I send off a Yankee?
Terrific.
StillerMeara.
Excuse me, miss, but you seem to be having trouble picking out a wine. Maybe I can help you.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I never talk to strangers.
Oh, how did you know?
What do you mean, how did I know? You're a stranger.
Right, Eliot Stranger.
Is that really your name?
No, it's really Eliot Stranger, but I do meet a lot of pretty girls this way.
I like you, Elliot. You're weird, but I like you. Maybe you can help. See, I'm having some friends over for smorgasbord. Some shrimps, a little cheese, some meatballs. What kind of wine can you serve with all those things?
May I suggest you have a little Blue Nun at your smorgasbord?
Oh, I don't think she'd have a very good time. Besides, it's going to be all couples.
Oh, no. Blue Nun wine. It's a delicious white wine that's correct with any dish. Meat, fish, cheese, meatballs.
Oh, Blue Nun. Oh, Elliot, you made me a convert.
I suppose you're going to drink it religiously.
Yeah, it's going to become a real habit.
Blue Nun, the delicious white wine that's correct with any dish. Another Seychelles wine imported by Shefflin and Company, New York.
And just a few moments of some great routines by Stiller and Meara, again from Ed Sullivan Show first, and then, of course, Carol Burnett, the second show. That's the appearance they made there. And then one of their classic Blue Nun commercials that I believe they wrote most of them, if not all of them. They did a lot of their own writing on their commercials that they did over the years, and just had that great chemistry, obviously. They weren't married to each other, but they still had the chemistry on stage. Sometimes it doesn't work that way, but it did in their case. And, of course, Jerry Stiller, who really was one of the great actors, too. He did a lot of Broadway. I saw him, I guess, early 90s up in New York. He did a play at, remember, Tony Randall. Of course, known from Odd Couple fame, Felix Unger, but a fine actor. He had his own theater, the National Actors Theater, and they did a performance of Three Men on a Horse, great classic American comedy, and Jerry Stiller was in that. That's the only time I saw him on Broadway, but he did a lot of Broadway shows along with his wife, both together and individually, and, of course, Jerry with the television work we mentioned before on Seinfeld. And then again on King of Queens as Arthur Spooner. He was not the original choice to play the father, Jason Alexander, or George Costanza's father on Seinfeld. There was a couple other actors that did it before him. And then eventually they got to Jerry, and he became the man. And you'll notice on the syndicated shows, the syndicated reruns of Seinfeld, he's in all the episodes. But originally there was another actor that played that part for, I think, the first 2 or 3 seasons. But they actually reshot the scenes with Jerry Stiller and, of course, Jason Alexander and the woman who played the mother for syndication. So they went, after the series was done, they did that. But anyway, Jerry Stiller, one of the all-time great performers, and at 92, pretty good run. Wonderful career. Also did a movie that was, several movies he was in, but one that he kind of stood out in was The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. Remember that one with Walter Matthau back in 1974, a great thriller with the plot being a New York subway train was being hijacked, and Walter Matthau was the lead cop on that, and Jerry Stiller played one of the other cops on that. Had some great funny lines in that movie. So anyway, remember Jerry Stiller on the program tonight as we play some of their earlier bits. And I know a lot of the television stations and really the internet was just kind of going crazy in a happy way, in a sense, for remembering the great Jerry Stiller. Twitter and Facebook, everybody putting up the remembrances the last day or so, and really well-deserved and well-loved performer. And we all miss him, but we have his work to remember him by. So that's our remembrance of the great Jerry Stiller on the program. We will be back with another edition down the road. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.